And all of a sudden, the rumors again, oh, the Russians are back. They're back. And they want Trump. Did they want the Democrats in the midterms? The New York Times has resurrected the Russia hoax. Now, before I get into why they're doing it, which is the critical question, let's get into what they're actually doing and how, again, and I'm very sorry I brought this up yesterday. I'm not kidding. I'm not being sarcastic or silly or dopey or, I'm not trying to mislead you. I'm very sorry for you. I'm sorry. I empathize with you. I feel bad for you if you actually believe that what you're getting from media outlets like the New York Times, Washington Post, Politico, CNN, MSNBC, and elsewhere is news. If you believe that's news, journalism based on facts and data they're trying to relay to you, I feel bad for you. I really do. My apologies. You're being subjected to an ongoing, never-ending, Pravda-like gaslighting lying campaign because they're trying to advance a very specific narrative in line with the liberal agenda, which is to take down Donald Trump. It's obvious. This isn't rocket science, or as I jokingly say sometimes, it's not rocket surgery. It's just not. Let's go to the New York Times piece. So this broke yesterday. It was all over the place. CNN was like, MSNBC, oh my God, Russia's back. The Russians again. Oh, Russia. So headline, New York Times, lawmakers are warned that Russia is meddling to re-elect Trump. A classified briefing to House members is said to have angered the president, who complained that Democrats would weaponize the disclosure. Hilariously, look at the byline on this. Look who wrote this piece. Adam Goldman, collusion hoaxer. Maggie Haberman, another collusion hoaxer. Folks, how many times, how many times are we going to get played for suckers by these people? How many times? Again, I'm going to explain to you in a minute why this is coming out now. But folks, let's get into what the article says and what really happened. I've got the kind of behind the scenes scoop on what really happened. And of course, it's nothing what Maggie Haberman and Adam Goldman, noted collusion hoaxers, fake news specialists. It's nothing like what they're writing in this article. It's not what happened at all. This is not a journalism piece. This is a fiction tale. Let's go to takeaway number one of the opening paragraphs of the piece. From the New York Times. Quote, intelligence officials warned House lawmakers last week that Russia was interfering in the 2020 campaign to try to get President Trump reelected. That is false, okay? That is not what happened. It goes on. 5 people familiar with the matter, guaranteed, by the way, folks, to be Democrats, said a disclosure to Congress that angered Mr. Trump, who complained that Democrats would use it against him. Okay, let's get into this first. Are these sources the same sources that told you that Spygate was real and that Trump was colluding with the Russians as stated in the dossier? That's now worth I wouldn't even use it as toilet paper. You may get a rash. Wow. Are these the same sources that told you Spygate was a hoax and collusion was real? We're supposed to take the New York Times. Folks, I'm just asking you. We're supposed to take the New York Times that relentlessly and ruthlessly promoted the now thoroughly discredited dossier and collusion hoax based on it. We're supposed to take them seriously, that their same sources that told us that lie are now telling the truth that Russia's meddling again in 2020 and it's to elect Trump. Keep in mind, and a great point was made last night on Fox News, and forgive me, for the life of me, I cannot remember who said it. I looked at Paula, we were watching Laura Ingraham. Oh, it was Devin Nunes. Hat tip Devin Nunes. He was on Laura Ingram's show last night. I had done Hannity, went to bed, was watching it. I looked over at Paula. I said, that's a great point. Actually, I didn't say that. I'm sorry, Paula. But I was thinking that. And Paula, you were ready to fall asleep. And I wanted to tell, but I didn't want to wake you up. But I was thinking of telling her that. I'm not kidding. Nunes said, isn't it amazing, Joe, how we've had an election since Trump's election? We did, right? The 2018 midterms. Did everybody miss that? Mm-hmm. A third of the Senate was up and the entire House of Representatives was up, which is, it's up every 2 years. Remember the 2018 elections? Liberals forgot that. Liberals did very well. Matter of fact, Democrats retook the House.
Right.
Joe, you know what's amazing? As Devin Nunes brought up, great point. Serious tip of the cap to you, Congressman Nunes. How come there were no rumors of Russian interference? I thought the Russians were so powerful that they can tip elections. But did you notice that narrative, Joe, only resurfaces when the Democrats are in trouble and may lose an election, like after a debate that was a real disaster for Democrats the other night? Oh, that has nothing to do with it.
How about that?
How about that?
Yeah.
So Democrats win in 2018, do very well for themselves.
Yeah.
The Russians seemingly disappear. No one hears anything. But now they have a disastrous debate. Nanny Bloomberg's falling apart. The election's collapsing. Bernie Sanders is the front runner. And all of a sudden, the rumors again, the Russians are back. They're back. And they want Trump. Did they want the Democrats in the midterms? Or did they want the Republicans in the midterms? And the Russians are just so ineffective at doing what the media tells us they're so good at that the Democrats won. What story is it, you media lunatics? What story is it? So now, of course, right after, conveniently, dreaded air quotes, conveniently after the Democrats have an abomination of a debate, all of a sudden this leak to the New York Times, the Russians are meddling in 2020 and it's to reelect Trump. Let me give you the inside scoop. So again, two takeaways here. Number one, convenient how the Russians only take a vacation when Democrats win. And number two, are these the same sources that told you about the dossier, Maggie Haberman, how great it was and how collusion was real and basically put egg on all your faces? Are these the same sources? We're just checking because you have zero credibility. Now let me tell you what my sources are telling me. I mean actual sources, like real sources. That's not what was said in this intelligence briefing. To quote the New York Times headline, can we put that headline up again? I want to make sure I get the precision matters. I want to get the quote accurate. The New York Times headline, my sources are telling me, is total garbage. Lawmakers warn that Russia is meddling to reelect Trump. That is not what happened. This is fake news. What happened is an intelligence professional from our Elections Interference Center gave a briefing. And in that briefing appeared to indicate that on a separate matter, not related to the Russians are meddling because they want to get Trump elected, on a separate matter indicated that the Russians think Trump is a deal maker and that they could potentially deal with him, that he's looking for a deal. Peace, prosperity, maybe some economic rapprochement here. By the way, none of this is in any way controversial. Trump's been looking for a deal with the North Koreans. He's been looking to deal. He's even offered a channel to the Iranians. He's looking to make they're opening up a channel right now with the Taliban. It's not a secret that President Trump is willing to deal with people at a deal-making table, even who are our enemies, if he thinks the United States may benefit from it. That's not a secret.
No. That
the Russians have seen that does not mean that the Russians are interfering in the election to get Trump elected. And that's insane.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.